Okay, hello teachers, welcome back to another edition of Classroom Management by Design for the Primary Teacher. I am Lauren Spigen. I am the founder of Lesson Plan Toolbox, where we help primary teachers master classroom management day in and day out. Classroom culture, classroom management, all things, anything that they need. We create the resources specific for our teachers. If we don't have it already created, we will do it for them. They are loving it. We are building a library, a resource library like no other, and getting ready to launch it super soon. So stay tuned for that. So here we are. Hopefully by now you are on summer vacation, okay? I just want to say that you are not alone in feeling exhausted. I want to start by just reiterating that. If you are a K-3 teacher feeling exhausted from constantly reacting to student behavior, I see you. I've been there. Day after day, you might be putting out fires and rushing from one meltdown to the next. It's tiring, and maybe you go home drained, feeling like all you did was manage behaviors all day long. Often that's a sign that the old strategies we were taught, color charts, point systems, sticker rewards, they just aren't working anymore. And it's not you, it's the approach that needs changed. So I want to share with you 3 realizations that help me answer the question, how can I stop just reacting to behavior? Okay, first one is rewards don't work long term. The second realization is co-regulation and emotional modeling are key for our students. They don't get that at home. We have to do it in the classroom. And third, we need new language and strategies, and it's going to change everything. So let's talk about why rewards don't work long term. In my early years of teaching, I relied on sticker charts and prize boxes. At first, it seemed like magic. Kids behaved, and I got a brief break from the chaos. But soon, I had to promise bigger and better rewards just to keep the same behavior going. One sticker would excite them, but before long, they were saying, "Is that all I get? I want more." The novelty was fading. My students grew dependent on getting a prize. If I ever skipped a reward day, their motivation dropped off dramatically. Why should we behave if there's no reward? Meanwhile, the kids who really earned the rewards started to give up. I even had a student say, "I'm always the bad kid. I don't care anymore." And it broke my heart. The very system meant to motivate was backfiring for the students who needed the encouragement the most. So I realized that external bribes, they don't build that internal motivation. Stickers and points, they might buy short-term compliance, but they don't teach kids why to make good choices. In fact, I noticed some students rush through work or only were half trying just to get to the prize at the end. They weren't really learning. And managing all these rewards was just exhausting for me. It wasn't a meaningful or sustainable way to encourage growth. So if rewards weren't the answer, what was? That question led me to my next realization. It turned out the answer wasn't a new system at all, but something more personal. How I used my own presence to help my students through tough moments. Co-regulation and emotional modeling are key. One day, a student, I'll call him Jay, had a full-down meltdown, screaming, knocking over chairs. My reflex was to shout, "Stop it!" But instead, I took a breath, I knelt down, and I said softly, "I see you're really upset. I'm here, and you're safe." I kept my voice calm and my face gentle. And little by little, those screams turned into sobs, and he quieted down. And in that moment, I learned the power of co-regulation. The idea that calm can help a child calm down. It takes a calm brain to calm another brain. So when a child is in meltdown mode, their brain is in fight or flight mode. They literally cannot process what we're saying until they feel safe again. By staying composed and empathetic, I was showing Jay that I wasn't angry or scared, that we could get through this together. And I also saw that emotions are contagious. If I reacted with panic or anger, the situation was going to escalate. But if I remained steady and soft-spoken, Jay was going to gradually begin to mirror my calmness. Staying calm is definitely easier said than done, but we're human and we do get triggered. But I've learned to give myself permission to pause when I feel my temper rising. I take a couple of deep breaths, sometimes right in front of my students, inviting them to breathe with me. And that pause is powerful. When I regulate myself, I'm modeling the skill I want my students to learn. Co-regulation, it doesn't mean ignoring problems or never giving consequences. It just means calm comes first, then the teaching about the behavior. Jay still had a consequence. He helped me pick the chairs back up, and we later talked about better choices, but only after he was calm enough to listen. Trying to lecture a student during a meltdown would have accomplished nothing. By waiting until he was calm, the lesson actually sank in much faster. So with this calmer connection-based approach, I realized I needed new ways to communicate. This brings us to our final insight, changing our language and strategies. So as I moved away from rewards and yelling, I had to change how I spoke to my students. The old, because I said so, and you need to stop, it didn't fit a kinder coaching approach. I started using language that guided children through their upsets rather than just demanding obedience. For example, I found these phrases helpful. I hear you're upset. Tell me what you need. This is acknowledging feelings and invites that expression, right? You're inviting them to the conversation. You're having a really tough time. I'm here and we'll get through this. This is giving comfort to the child in meltdown mode. It's assuring them you're not leaving. This is not okay. Let's fix this together. This sets that clear boundary while focusing on making it right. And I will tell you, at first, these responses felt a bit awkward to say. They were so different from my old teacher voice, but with practice, they became natural. And the payoff was huge. Instead of angry defiance or shut down silence, I saw that my students were actually listening. A student who might have exploded or withdrawn would calm down and even talk about what was wrong because of my response made them feel safe rather than scared. I also adjusted some routines to support this approach, right? I taught my class a simple breathing exercise. Smell the flower, blow out the candle. And we practiced it during calm times during our day. It became a familiar tool the students could use when big feelings hit. Another change was how I reinforced positive behavior. So instead of handing out prizes, I made a point to praise specific actions. Thank you so much for sharing the markers with Anna. That was so kind of you. You could see the pride on a child's face when their kindness or effort was being noticed, not necessarily rewarded. They began repeating those behaviors because it felt good, not because they wanted the sticker or the treat. All these changes built a classroom culture of trust and respect. So when students feel valued and understood, they are naturally going to start making better choices. Not because we bribed them or because we threatened them, but because they wanted to. They wanted to. So this shift from reaction to connection, it literally transformed my classroom. And I believe it can do the same for yours. When you lead with connection, you create a space where students feel safe, seen, and ready to learn. And you're going to find that you will feel calmer and happier because you're not spending all your energy on constant discipline. And it's not going to happen overnight. And you've still got some hard days ahead of you. But every small step, a deep breath before responding, a gentle word instead of a sharp one, it's going to be progress in the right direction. Start small and be patient with yourself. Try one new phrase or strategy at a time and give it a little time to work. Those small strategies are going to add up. You're not alone in this journey. Many teachers are moving towards this relationship-centered approach, and it might feel different from what others are doing, but trust your instincts that focusing on connection is worth it because it works. Thank you so much for being here, listening, and caring for your students. Taking time to reflect on your practice shows how dedicated you are, and I hope you feel a bit more hopeful and a bit less alone. You have the power to set a positive tone in your classroom, one where connection comes first and good behavior follows. So until next week, take care of yourself, keep leading with heart, and know that you've got this. Be sure to be on the lookout for when we open our first, or I should say our next round of Lesson Plan Toolbox Teachers with a whole new revamped website with resources galore. Literally at the click of a button, you can have the resources that you need for yourself and your students. So be on the lookout for that. It is coming soon. Until next week, teach, relax, repeat.